Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Paul, and I'd like to welcome you to today's episode of Imagine Your Future. I'm joined by my usual partner in crime, Karen Collyer. Karen, what do we have in store for our listeners today?
Well, actually, we are recording another installment of our Trends for 2022 series. And today's guest is Johanna von Geyr, who's the ISG partner that heads up our insurance practice in EMEA. Welcome, Johanna. Anybody watching this space would acknowledge that the insurance industry in EMEA seems to be at a digital tipping point. And this is because, emerging competition, margin pressure, a tightening regulatory environment, and millennial buyers have all combined to create what Johanna has called a survival of the fittest type space. So what I'm curious to know, Johanna, is what can insurers do to ensure that they can thrive and survive and not be left behind in this new environment?
Thank you very much, Karen. Thank you very much, Steve. Hi, everyone listening in. Great. Looking forward to our insurance discussion today. And Karen, as you rightfully ask for, there are two major pillars the industry is currently looking into. Most important, to constantly improve the customer experience and customer centricity. Secondly, to radically simplify. But now everyone will ask, what does that mean? Back in Q4, we've launched our annual ISG insurance survey. More than 200 executives participated from the industry. For 9 out of 10 respondents, improving the customer experience is a key trend for 2022. The issues of customer centricity and increased competition are very closely interlinked. After all, the greatest danger comes from precisely those companies that are really fast to market with customer-centric digital offerings.
How do you think that this change is going to impact service providers in the space?
We are in constant exchange with them, and according to multiple providers working in the insurance industry, this also led to a certain repatriation trend, or at least, let's name it, interest in EMEA, where large-scale insurers look to get more control on the entire customer journey and business operations. This to avoid lock-in positions with the provider ecosystem. I mentioned a second pillar in the beginning, simplification. So what does that mean? The insurance industry is facing a giant challenge. Its product portfolio must be standardized to get rid of the complexity of the past and the associated cost-intensive legacy IT. Only then will insurers be agile enough to be able to link with exactly those ecosystems that are pivotal to their market strategy. Existing products today, if you look into various tariffs, they are still managed very differently. For this reason, it's necessary to quickly take action. The plan on digitizing at an accelerated speed will only be a success if all products across the insurer are based on a very few development models that are coherently meet actuarial, sales-based, and technical market demands. Setting up such a framework is a super ambitious plan. But we can see pioneers like the Chinese insurance group Ping An or German Allianz are already showing great commitment to implementing this strategy.
So you mentioned Ping An. Is what's happening in EMEA market true globally? And if not, what do you think is driving the difference?
Certainly globally, we see the focus on customer experience and the close watch on leveraging simplification for more efficiency is a global trend. But we don't see the repatriation interest happening in the US or APAC at the same level as in EMEA. There is a reason why build, operate, transfer deals are coming back on the agenda. On the one hand, to get certain activities back into the business, certainly on the other hand, to address the war for talent, which is also at the heart of our insurance strength.
So, Johanna, if you think through the war on talent and what's happening there, but why do you think insurers in Europe think that a bot is a better way to get it when they're fighting for talent across Europe and across the world as well with maybe other better known brands?
Look, in my view, the access providers are having to talents are a bit easier, especially on the technology side. But then we talked earlier on, they want to own the customer journey. They want to avoid the risk associated with a lock-in position with certain providers, which is why that is back on the agenda.
So it's almost as if that customer journey has really been that competitive differentiator, and even in core things, really making sure that they pull in that competitive differentiator internally versus outsourcing the way they have in the past.
I couldn't have said it better, Steve. Thank you. Yes.
No, it's really interesting. Thanks. I think that answers a lot. Karen and I have had a lot of guests over the past year, and I think with every guest, we've tried to talk a little bit about the COVID, a little bit about the pandemic, especially that impacts individual industries. Insurance was hit hard, as we all know. I think in your numbers that you said, the impacts were somewhere between 40 and 82 billion for 2020, big losses in 2021. But it looks like from the earnings season, we've had a pretty good pickup. What do you sort of see overall from an industry health perspective?
Yes, you rightfully so said. Look in the earnings releases from our major insurance players, whether it's Allianz, AXA, Munich Re, MetLife, to just name a few of them. Insurance is clearly outperforming the stock for 2021, compared to other industries. You ask for what are the key factors driving that? Favorable renewals, improved pricing, reinsurance agreements, strong retention, and organic business growth are boosting these results from my perspective and from what we see in our research department. There is an increased awareness following the COVID pandemic, continuously supporting the life insurance business in the last quarter. In fact, this major positive factor is expected to continue well beyond 2021 and 2022. In total, insurers took the customer experience serious and have constantly invested in the acceleration of their digital journey, even during the pandemic. This includes cloud automation, AI, cybersecurity, as well as data science, to just name a few major initiatives. And they now getting the results out of it. It really pays off.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think the pandemic made us all kind of realize our own mortality, if you will. So life insurance going up and making sure that their loved ones and families and stuff are taken care of and are taken care of makes sense. Yeah, what's interesting though is how much insurance is really applying AI and enhanced AI, both from an NLP perspective, but also pictures and graphics and other components. What do you sort of see the future of AI in the insurance space?
Insurance will become even more interlinked with AI, and we will see that at scale. We are still a bit in a proof of concept mode with AI. If you take claims management, for example, there it's obviously more common than in other areas, but what we will see scale.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we've seen some really interesting case studies or use cases, if you will, especially in claims, where you can take a picture of the damage on your vehicle. That picture gets compared to, thousands of other pictures, and they can right away say, here's your overall impact, here's your thing, and actually transact that claim in minutes now, which is just amazing for the insurance. But I would suspect even actuarials and other things will really be enhanced with more data and more AI as we go forward.
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on that too, Steve. Like the whole idea of robo-advisory and what that means for InsurTech in general. I'm interested, in Johanna's thoughts on that. I know that pre-pandemic, insurers were really committed to transformation and supporting technology, from a digital transformation perspective. But I'm really interested where you think, Johanna, InsurTech is going over the course of the next year, the next maybe 2 years, and then, a 5-year kind of horizon. What do you think?
Look, this is a very common topic and largely discussed across the industry. Yeah? Are they now really dangerous for them or not? Yeah. And here legacy is an angel and a devil for them, because in case of the rising pressure from insurtechs who are cloud native, who can go fast to market, etc., they are really lacking the legacy of the big insurance giants, having data since years and years and years, which is why the trend in the industry will continue to collaborate with insurtechs, to invest into insurtechs and their solutions, to make use of their speed to market and ability to respond to the customer demand, which is outperforming the giants and big corporations in many ways. However, they collaborating with them and then as such taking the benefit out of the ecosystem with the insurtechs. A good example is Allianz having early on invested a major share in Lemonade, which is paying claims back within minutes and not within days or weeks, as we can see it today sometimes.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Johanna. So I think I've got one last question just as a follow-up for the InsurTech discussion. How do you see partnerships evolving, especially technology partnerships in the insurance ecosystem? I mean, do you see them maybe actually partnering with manufacturing, maybe with the car experience and autonomous driving? What are some of the things that you think insurance is going to be more engaged with, especially on the InsurTech side?
This is an interesting question because we obviously see starting different partnerships, different ecosystems, but not yet at scale. What we definitely see is that insurers turn to their service providers to help them build a resilient and competitive organization. Our insurance survey revealed that insurers place the highest value on the thought leadership, consultancy, and industry expertise that they offer to insurance companies. Insurers have adapted their customer management and product strategies as a customer behavior is evolving. Yeah, the ISG index shows that as a service and managed services generated all-time high revenues back in 2021. Yeah, with managed services up 20% on the strength of mid-sized deals. This uptake of cloud across various industries has been a notable shift, with insurers looking at cloud-first technology investments. Why are they doing that? We discussed this earlier on. That obviously to ensure a fast go-to-market approach with new products, like, for example, collaborations with manufacturers. If we look into car insurance, it's a good example you raised earlier on.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I think the hyperscalers and the cloud providers look at major disruption in the insurance space, but I think they also look at it as a major area of collaboration. Even a lot of our conversations with the hyperscalers really talked about the types of capabilities. So, Johanna, thank you so much. Really great conversation. 2022 looks pretty up for you, so maybe we need to reset some numbers for you, given all the exciting things that are going on in insurance. What do you think?
Let's watch what's going to happen. Yeah, the pandemic hit us hard back in 2020. And now we have the crisis with the Ukraine and Russia. So let's see what 2022 brings us to the table. We're definitely in a VUCA world. So I wouldn't take everything as a safe bet yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just on that note, clearly thoughts and prayers go out to everybody and hope, safety and everything else. And peace reigns through that region again as soon as we go forward. So, Karen, anything else from you?
Yeah, so I have something. Thank you, Johanna. It was a good conversation. And I'd also like to thank everybody else for taking the time to listen to today's pod. If you've liked what you've heard, you can listen in on more insightful Imagine Your Future conversations by accessing our website at www.isg-1.com/podcasts, or by subscribing wherever you get your podcast content. As always, thank you for lending us your ears, and we can't wait until we meet again.